Hey guys, Harsh here, back in video. So today I have the Indian Air Force Apache AH64 attack helicopter by Hobby Master, and this is in the scale of 1:72. Here is the box, and as you can see we have images of the Apache helicopter all around, and here you can see we have the actual design of the aircraft that is inside. So flipping the flap up, we get our first look at the helicopter itself, and I am seeing lots of components, so this would need a bit of assembly. So let's take it out of its packaging very carefully, as these models are very delicate and should be handled with care. So if we flip it around, we will find a two-piece stand. Very nice to see that they have included that stand inside the package. Also, we get a metal tool to remove the small block which goes in the stand hole inside the helicopter when not in use. Then we get a whole array of goodies which will go on the aircraft body itself, and this basically includes the missile antennas and the windshield wiper. So let's remove the plastic, and to do that first we need to remove the metal wire which holds the model in place. After that we can finally take out our model, the front cannon and tiny human figurines. So let's start mounting the missiles, and they are just simple press fit, so all you need to do is just push them into their respective slots. Once all that is done, we can finally take a close look at the model itself. So now I have the model fully assembled, and as there were no instruction, it was pretty difficult to place all the little bits and bobs all around the aircraft itself. So let me just tell you what I have done over here. So first of all, starting with the tail, we have this antenna over here which we need to paste separately. Then comes this rail over here. As you can see, it is pasted on very unprofessionally, and I did a bit of a destruction over here with the pasting of the glue, and it is still not stuck properly to the plain body. So maybe going back and just removing all the glue and pasting it again may be possible, but I'm not sure. It may destroy the paint on it. Then as you can see, these antennas over here, so this L-shaped antenna and the one behind it are also stuck on. Underneath the two arms, you can see we have both the missiles on them, and these are quite loose missiles. So let me just show you. You can just like that take them out of the plain body. So usually I would recommend some sort of glue to stick it on, but as I move quite frequently, so I have to pack these models and move them around in their shipping box, so I had to keep them like this so that I can easily take them out and put them in their shipping box. Then if you look at the front over here, the windshield wiper over here as well is also stuck on additionally to the windshield there. And the main gun, as I have said before, this is also a very nice detail, and it rotates around, so that's pretty nice, but I don't think it is meant for that. Apart from that, the rest are all pre-stuck together from the factory. Now it does come with these tiny pilots over here, but for that I have to remove the canopy, and I was unsuccessful in doing that because I think it is just a simple pull off just like that, but I'm not sure because it is stuck on that pretty solidly, so I don't want to break it, so that's why I just left it there. But if I were to remove the canopy, then I would have clearly shown you the cockpit inside it, which is quite nicely detailed, as you can see, with the pilot seat and the joystick on the dashboard there. And if you look at the back seat, then you can see we have some few buttons and screens also, which is quite nicely detailed. And then at the front here we have the main camera for the Apache helicopter, and as you can see it is quite nicely detailed, but I think the color shading on the camera lens would have been very nice to see. It is just like a simple black paint, but on the original I think it is some sort of holographic thing. And as you can see over here, we have some serial marking going on, which is quite nice to see as well. And I don't think it is quite clearly readable, but it is good that they at least tried it. And same on the front of the cockpit there, as you can see it is written something, but it is not quite clearly readable. That is because of the ink splatter that happens. Also on the top there, as you can see, they tried to use the stamp printing on it, but I don't think that worked out quite well. And from the top, if you see, then you can see we have few more buttons as well on the cockpit, as you can see, which looks very nice though. Then if you look at the side there, we can see we have few more markings along the whole cockpit side, and also some good details for all the stuff that is on the helicopter. And I'm saying all the stuff because I don't actually know what stuff goes on to an attack helicopter, especially the Apache, so I'm just pointing out the details so that you guys can make a decision whether to buy it or not. And it is the same story on the other side as well, as you can see, with quite nice details for all the panels and all that stuff. And if you look at the underneath there, we can see we have the main gun, which is sort of okay detailed, and as you can see we have the silver painted tip, or should I say the unpainted tip. It also has the belt which goes inside the helicopter itself, and which transfers the bullets to the actual gun itself. And behind it we have the landing gear, and detailed quite nicely, but for what I have paid for this model, I think the landing gear should have been more detailed. Still, this looks pretty nice. And underneath here is a special thing over here. So as you can see, there is a little hole here which you can poke this needle through it, which is provided with the kit. So you just poke it like that, and then just pull this block out. So let me just try to do that on camera. So it goes in just like so, and then you can pull it out. And as you can see, as I did, a missile fell into my hand, so I'm going to just keep it there for now. Actually remove all the missiles. Oops, as you can see, they are falling quite easily, so I'll just keep them there so that I don't actually break them. So this is the little block that comes out, and you may be asking, well, why these blocks come out? Well, let me show you. It is for the stand which comes in the box, which is pretty nice, and unlike JC wings, they provide the stand inside the box and not sold separately. So you just insert it like that. It has a square base, so it won't rotate around, and then you can just place it on your table or whatever you like, and then you have a nice display model. And if you want to just display it in a normal on the ground just like so, then you can just take this small block and then just place it inside the helicopter body, and that would be good enough. And this stand is basically just a two-part system, so you just as you can see, it comes out just like so, and then you can easily store it away in a very tight and neat space. Coming back to the aircraft, if you look at the rotor design, as you can see, it is quite nicely detailed, and as you can see, all around it looks pretty good. And one good thing about it is that the rotor actually rotates, so it has a quite free movement. So if I just spin it, let me just show you. As you can see, it rotates for quite a few times until coming to a full stop, so that's pretty nice as well. Some of them, I think, they have done is just hollowed out the inside and put a motor in it so that it rotates on its own. So I mean, I won't be doing that, but that looks pretty nice as well. And if you look at the one of the two engines on the sides there, you can see it is quite nicely detailed as well, with all the panel cutouts and the paint job on it. Also, the details on the underneath of the aircraft are quite nicely detailed as well. And obviously the exhaust, as always, looks pretty nice on the 172 scale model. And just to get an idea on how big the helicopter is, let me just put this minifigure on top of the helicopter there on the radar. This is the radar of the helicopter, I think, and just look at how small the human being is to the actual rotor and the helicopter itself, because in the videos and photos you won't be able to comprehend the size of the aircraft unless you take a very close look at it. I mean, you can see how big the radar up top is. You can actually have a party up there if the Air Force allows you to do so, but I don't think they will. So let's just continue on with our review. And flipping to the other side there, we can see we have some more panel markings on the side as well, along with the text which is hidden deep inside the aircraft body. And this time I think it is quite nicely and clearly visible, but I'm not sure. The camera resolution, I think, has reached its limit, so we won't be able to read that, but I'm sure with the magnify lens we will be able to read that. And as you can see, we have the green LED on the right side of the aircraft, and that was the red LED on the left side. So as you can see, these are the indication LED for every aircraft that has to be in the air. And then if we move to the underneath there, we can see we have few more antennas, and this is another sort of camera, I believe, but I'm not sure what its purpose is, so I will just leave it at that. And then comes this abomination of the hand guardrail that I tried to stick on, but clearly I failed to do so. Over here I think it's quite good, but these two ones are just completely destroying the look of the model. But if I just flip it around, then that won't be an issue. And as you can see, at the attempt of trying it, I actually scrubbed off the marking that was on there. So I am now in search of a super glue remover, because this is Fevikwik actually, and I did quite a big mistake over here. And as you can see over here, it says danger, high voltage, do not touch antenna. So right now I am only figuring out that this is the actual antenna of the aircraft. So this is actually quite a strange and weird place for antenna, but it looks quite nice, and the engineering behind it is also, I mean, quite incredible, because who would have thought that placing an antenna like this would be a good idea, but looks pretty nice. And here we have the Air Force logo. And one more thing, that if you were to place the antenna, there aren't actually any holes, so you have to just eyeball it and stick it onto the aircraft body by looking at the photos, just the way like I did. But clearly, as you can see, it didn't turn out quite well, so I would just recommend you to use some Fevicol, which can be easily wiped out with water and won't damage the aircraft body. Then finally, moving to the tail, you can see it is quite nicely detailed as well, with the warning markings and all the stuff. And if you look at the elevator, I think this is the elevator of the aircraft, but I don't actually think it moves around, although there is a little bit of gap, so I'm wondering if it's pasted all the way into the rudder or not. If you look at the rudder, we can see we have the Indian Air Force logo in just a straight format, and the registration number of the aircraft, which is ZV4808. And if you look at the rotor blade, then as you can see, it is not in the perfect plus shape, it is sort of like in a X shape with the the rotor over here, as you can see, it is as same as detailed as the main rotor blade, as you can see over here, which I think would be better considering the price of the aircraft. And if you look at the top of the tail there, then you can see we have another marking, and on top of that we have another antenna, which I actually misplaced one, so I had to rely on the spare one. So this is the actually one of the nice feature that you will get when you buy this aircraft, which is the spare parts, because you will eventually lose these small parts during shipping or moving around or something like that. So having extra bits and bobs really helps you a lot. So that is, guys, the Apache AH64 helicopter for the Indian Air Force by Hobbymaster. And this is obviously in the 1:72 scale. If I haven't mentioned in the video, I will just let you know that, along with the missiles, which come out quite easily, but that is because I won't stick them on for now. So as you can see, also the missiles are quite nicely detailed as well, and they will look even better on the aircraft body itself. So thanks for this video, guys. Hopefully you like it. If you have any doubts regarding this video, you can comment down below. I will try to answer them as soon as possible. So until then, I will see you all in the next one.